How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. You know, you're brightening my day because my day hasn't been going too good with the stupid carburetors on my MTD Gold Tractor. I bought a new carburetor and it surged. The engine surged. I bought another new carburetor and the engine surged. So now I've got two new carburetors, and I'm going to make one carburetor out of those two that won't make the engine surge. Do you believe me? Let's go find out. That's what it looked like originally. There was this cover over this opening, so I drilled a little hole in that, and then I put a screw in it, just an ordinary wood screw, and just enough to get a couple of teeth to bite because that's just aluminum. And then I popped that out. So now, guess what? There is a screw in here. Now I did drill a little bit into the top of that screw, but I think it's going to be alright because I can get my screwdriver in there now and I can make an adjustment on that high-speed idle screw. So I'm back to my first carburetor that I bought, trying to get this now geared up to work, but the problem is, remember, I have a bad bowl gasket. So in an attempt to address that issue, I'm going to take this bowl off for the first time, see what this bowl gasket looks like, and maybe I can, you know, put this one into this carb, because I don't like this jet. It's just way too loose. I just don't like that. To get down to what I'm trying to talk about here, I'm going to take this bowl off and see what happens. There's the bowl with a little bit of gas, and this looks like a much better bowl gasket at least. Alright, so this is the new one. I'm going to leave the new one in this pan with all its parts. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to get another pan, and I'm going to take the bowl gasket off of this guy. And you can see this gasket, it's a little, I don't know whether you can make that out, but it's a little flared out on that side right there. And when you touch it, look, it seems like it's just too big, eh? Now to get that back on there, it just goes on too easy. Like I don't know, it just seems like it's too big. Whereas this bowl gasket here, it seems to fit better. Now I might be just trying to justify that in my own mind, but anyway. This carburetor here is the first one that I bought, and it ran the tractor all summer. Just I had no high-speed jet adjustment, but now I've discovered that I do have a high-speed jet adjustment. But the problem I was having with this one is it had a bad bowl gasket and the bowl was flooding. But for most of the summer this didn't flood, so that tells me that for most of the summer it was holding the fuel, stopping the fuel. So what I'm going to try and do is, because this one held better vacuum than the brand new one, and also because this one has now, I discovered it has a high-speed jet adjustment, I'm going to put this carb back together and install that on the tractor and see how we make out. So there's the bowl gasket from this one, so I'm going to set that aside and take the bowl gasket from the new carb that I bought, and I'm going to put a little Vaseline on that. I like to put Vaseline on the rubber O-ring or gasket components. Just, I don't know, it doesn't hurt. So we'll put that on there, and then we'll slide this gasket over the edge of the bowl here. So make sure that's on good. Then just a little bit of the residual Vaseline that's on my hand, I'm just going to rub on this tip of the needle, because that needle valve, if you can see there, it's got a rubber seat on it, or tip on it. So I'm going to put that in there, slide that in the float, and set the needle in there and set the float in place. Then put the pin in. There you go. And then we'll put the bowl on, and the bowl, there's no orientation to the bowl, it'll go anyway at all. And then we put the solenoid in. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little bit of Vaseline just on this rubber cap. Not a lot, just a touch. And then we put the solenoid in. And now, like I was doing there earlier, I have the cap off here. So now I can make adjustments to the high-speed jet on this carburetor. So we'll see if we can get that to run smooth at high speed. So then there's a half a turn, 1.5 turns. We're going to go at 1.5 turns to just see how that works. So now we're going to go install this back on the tractor. Alright, we're going to install the carb. So we have the intake gasket there. We put our throttle lever, throttle linkage on here, and connect this little damping spring. Then we have a choke linkage that goes on here, something like so, and then that slides in over these studs. And before we get in there too far, we have to put this anti-backfire electrical connection. Test that. Yeah, I can hear that clicking. The fuel line on, and then put this fuel line clip right up there. I was experiencing leaks around what I thought was the bowl gasket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my fuel on now and just look for leaks. And I see a leak right there, and that's leaking around the hose. So I don't like this piece of fuel line here, so I'm going to change that fuel line. I don't like it. It's as hard as a rock right now in the cold weather. So off she comes. You know, I was thinking that maybe it was the bowl ring that was leaking, but it's this hose. Now look at that. I just put this hose on there this summer, and look at that. Man, I can't even bend that. So that hose is no good. We'll get another piece. Alright, here's better fuel line. It's a 1/4 inch ID, but it's quite a heavy duty outside diameter. Put the fuel line clips over it. So now we'll put this on here. And I'm going to put a little bit of Vaseline on that just to help it slip on. Just to lube that up. And then I put some on this carburetor spigot as well. Perfect. And I'll put this clip up there. Okay. Now we'll do the old fuel test again, see if it leaks. I can hear it filling the bowl. That looks better. No signs of leaks now. Okay, so now we can put our backer plate, our airbox backer plate on. You don't want to make these bolts like super tight, but you need to make sure that they're tight so that there's no air leak in there. Okay, I think we're ready to start. I'm not going to put the air cleaner on it just yet, but I want to start it up and I want to get my screwdriver ready because I'm going to have to adjust this high-speed jet back in here, right there, and try to smooth out the high-speed idle. But I'm going to back the tractor over by the garage door and open the door and let it exhaust outside while I make these adjustments. Alright, this is running a lot smoother now. This is the original, the first carburetor that I bought that I thought had no high-speed jet adjustment. Turns out it does. And I was able to adjust that hunt out of the carburetor. Just the setting, just for curiosity's sakes, I turned the jet as far in as I could turn it. Then I turned it out a turn and a half. And then you saw when it started up there, it was hunting a little bit. So I turned it out a little bit more. And then when I was driving around the yard, it was still seemed to be hunting and searching a little. So I just turned it out. So now it's out about 2.5 turns. So that seems to be working good. So that's great. I'm happy with that. The air cleaner's back on. It's all buttoned up. Well, I think I got rid of the surge on this engine at high speed. I'm glad. You know, last summer when I got this tractor and started working on it, fixed it all up, I was thinking, boy, this is just what I need, man. It's just perfect for what I need for scooting around the shop here, around the yard, you know, in and out with the garbage and whatnot. This is ideal. But in the back of my mind the whole time it was, wow, there's a surge in that engine and I don't like that. I can deal with it by putting a little bit of choke on, but no, this is just not what I want. I got to fix that. So 2 carburetors later, I got rid of it. I now have a carb on there where I can adjust the high-speed idle so that, you know, hopefully I can tune that out if it comes back. But I think that's it for this tractor. I'm going to put it away in the shed, I mean, probably for the winter because I won't use it much through the winter. But we'll see next spring. Hopefully it still runs. And also the other issue I had with it was the fuel leak, but I think I addressed that with the fuel line. I think the fuel line was the culprit there the whole time, not the bowl gasket. I thought it was a bad bowl gasket, so I changed that, put the Vaseline on it, but I think it was the fuel line. And now I have a better quality fuel line on there, so hopefully that's not going to be a problem anymore either. So anyways, I hope you like this little series on the MTD Gold Lawn Tractor. It's a great machine for a little bit of money up front. They got a really nice, useful tool for around the property here. It's going to be really, really nice. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hey, I sure hope you had a really nice New Year's. You know, 2021, well, you know, it's like the red-headed stepson. We just don't even like to talk about him. Take care, everyone. We'll talk to you.